Hey everybody, welcome back to Twin Oaks Farm Poultry. Thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be about the challenge of raising meat chickens. In fact, it's going to be the first video in a series of several videos on that topic. We are at Twin Oaks Farm in rural Southeast Ohio, USA, and here we specialize in the production of top quality poultry from specifically Cornish Rock Cross meat chickens. Hey, it's Melissa. Always appreciated that y'all join us. We're so glad that you're here. We're glad that you join in our operations through our YouTube videos, and I hope that you'll subscribe to our channel. So I've been wanting to do a set of videos on the challenges of raising meat chickens because we specialize in the production of poultry from Cornish Rock Cross meat chickens. We've had egg production chickens just for household use for over 20 years, and we do now have a small flock of egg production hens that we sell the eggs from. But about 4 years ago we wondered, what about raising chickens for poultry, raising our own homegrown poultry? We already raise our own beef, raise our own pork, and we are in the rural setting, have a country lifestyle, involved in farming. Our family is involved in agricultural work, so it was a natural fit to do things with crops and planting and livestock, but we had not ever grown chickens specifically for poultry. And like I said, we'd always had chickens for egg production. They were pretty easy to raise, so we thought, hey, maybe we can do this. So about 4 years ago, we did raise our first flocks of Cornish Rock Cross meat chickens. And so like I said, over 4 years, we've expanded that operation, and we've learned by a lot of trial and error, a lot of firsthand experience of what not to do. And it's a legitimate learning curve to get into raising meat chickens. So I've wanted to be able to do a set of videos on just the different challenges that we've encountered. So we don't have any meat chickens on the property right now. The first half of 2023, from January to June 26th, we finished 950 Cornish Rock Cross meat chickens specifically for poultry that we market in our local area by direct sale and just by direct marketing and pick up at our small farm. So we are set to raise about 400 more for the second half of 2023, but those birds don't get here until later in the summer. So right now we're between birds, so it's a little challenging for me to discuss the challenges of raising Cornish Rock Cross meat chickens without any of them on the property, but we're going to try to make a go of it, because actually this is when I have time to do that. When we get back into having birds, we're going to have 300 come in the end of August, and a lot of time does get devoted to raising those flocks properly and to their management. So we do want to talk today about what I think is probably the #1 challenge of raising meat chickens for household use, specifically if you're coming from the background of having had some experience with egg production chickens. So want to take a look at the little garden here though first. So in a previous video sharing produce with chickens, it was about sharing produce with chickens. I think that's what we called it, sharing produce with chickens. We showed actually these little garden beds that are planted for household eating and also for sharing produce out of them with our egg production chickens. And if you've seen some of our other videos, there is Mama Hen and Oakley the chick here. So that's really what caught my eye and made me decide to go ahead and record this video now to have it for upload on Monday, which should be July 24th. But seeing Mama Hen and Oakley chick down here reminded me that one of our earliest challenges with raising meat chickens was the realization that they aren't the same as raising egg production chickens. So especially if you're coming, she's gathering up some black oil sunflower seeds that were there. So especially if you are coming from the background of having had egg production chickens and you want to try to raise meat production chickens, the first challenge is just to make some peace with the realization that raising meat chickens is a lot different than raising egg production chickens. As a side note, mama hen being in the little garden bed, there's Oakley chick, that's what I was looking for. Mama hen being in the garden bed here is a reminder to me to share with y'all that one of the reasons our egg production hens are closed in a run is that if you get several chickens down in a little garden bed like this and they dig around at that soil and pick at the plants, they can just devastate and decimate your plantings. So we generally do not let chickens into the flower beds and garden beds for that reason, so they don't tear them up. But also we don't want chicken droppings really where we're going to eat. I know we get bird droppings in there naturally, but you know, we try to aim for some good practices anyway in even our produce production. But at any rate, seeing them here in the flower bed or the garden bed made me just want to touch on that to open up this train of thought of the challenges of raising meat chickens. They aren't the same as egg chickens, and we don't mean the following in a rude way, but there's so many times that we've talked to people and they tell us, oh, we're gonna raise meat chickens. And sometimes we'll think to ourselves, yeah, you're gonna do that one time. Because for a lot of people, they expect it, they come into it with this expectation that raising meat chickens is going to be a lot like raising egg production chickens. And when they get into the process and realize that it isn't nearly as much fun as they expected, and it can turn into a lot more work than they expected. And then the other thing that happens that goes along with that is that, you know, egg production chickens, we can keep them a long time and they keep producing eggs, and in general, we don't have the issue of what to do with them at the end of life. Or if we do, it takes a very long time to get to that point in the process. With meat chickens, we don't have that same luxury. With meat production chickens, the biggest way that they are different from egg production chickens is the fact that most meat chickens, like specifically Cornish Rock Cross chickens, they are bred to be finished and ready to harvest basically at 5 or 6 weeks. And many small flock keepers and owners do grow ahead and raise those flocks out to maybe 8, 9, 10, 12 weeks and do that very successfully. But those breeds really are able to be finished and ready to harvest in 5 or 6 weeks. So the fact that you're going to have to deal with handling the end of life issue with meat birds comes up really quickly. And if you don't go into that project totally prepared to handle the end of life issue with your meat birds, it's really going to sneak up on you. So I would tell you that the first biggest challenge of raising Cornish Rock Cross meat chickens is when you enter into that process, before you ever get your birds, before you ever even order your birds, before you decide how many you're getting, before you decide where you're going to keep them, decide how you're going to handle processing them, and come to terms with the fact that definitely within 3 months or less, those birds will be finished growing, they will be ready for harvest, and you will need to deal with dispatching them, whether that means you're going to process them yourself or take them to a professional processor. You need to have that plan in your mind and actually have that plan in place, because time can really get away from you and those birds end up ready to process before we realize it. So we've learned that from experience. We've had it happen to us. You're not alone if it's happened to you. And that's the first challenge of raising meat birds, specifically Cornish Rock Cross meat chickens. They are going to finish fast. It's totally different from raising egg production chickens, and you just need to be prepared to handle the processing at the end of their lifespan, at the end of the lifespan that we're going to keep them on when they're ready for harvest. Thanks for joining us at Twin Oaks Farm Poultry. Drop any questions or observations in the comments, and please subscribe to our channel. Thanks for your help.